Good Friday morning to you. Hopefully you had an excellent Thanksgiving Day. Today the winds will be from the northwest, pretty strong, and just it's going to be a cold day. Highs today will get in the upper 30s, around 40. Feeling the 20s many times throughout the day. Just be a chilly day. Cold air will stick around tomorrow. The breezes will eventually subside, and then we'll watch for some precipitation coming in here late tomorrow night into early Sunday. It could be in the form of rain snow mix or just some snow showers. May not be much of anything. It's not looking like it's a washout or anything, but the day could start a little bit damp. Maybe a little bit of rain snow mix, maybe just rain. It's hard to say, but I think rain snow mix makes sense. Then it will clear out by Sunday afternoon. Staying chilly through all day on Sunday and then Monday. Still pretty chilly. Now what's happening here is this is the low pressure that's going to bring us our precipitation. Is high. At one point was in a better ideal situation for us to get snow. In order for us to get snow this high, it would need to be, it would need to be further west. So what's happening, get the forecast model here back to where we were. Of course it's not going to. Sorry, y'all. If we wanted this to work out, that high pressure system that's to our north would have had to have been further west. Or the following high pressure system would have had to speed up and been more to the north. Now what's happening is this first low that originally was going to kind of go up there and hopefully lock in some cold air, it decided to move on out. There was no blocking, nothing stopping the colder air. So by the time the moisture gets here, the cold air is eroded. Pennsylvania gets into some snow and things. But according to the GFS, it's pretty much all rainstorm for us. So that's a pretty robust system, which gives us some good rain. And that's part of the reason. I'm not saying we won't see some frozen starting early on Tuesday morning, but quickly, turned over to rain. Has a very nice storm track. If it was a month or so later, maybe we would have gotten some more snow out of it. Still would not have been ideal because the temperatures in the upper atmosphere are going to turn warmer just because of the trajectory of the cold. Now later in the period we get cold again next week, really cold towards the middle of next week and towards the end. And then longer range, it still is promising to warm up with a more zonal kind of pattern here before we get little cold shots, don't be wrong. But not as cold as what we look like in the next week or so. But that's so far off, and what I have seen is that the models are replaying the warmth that we're getting here in the east. Not saying that we've gotten super cold. We definitely have had days that are warm, but it hasn't been as cold. So as I compare to the GFS versus the European, so the European is a little bit colder and not quite as robust with the storm. So what we're seeing here is, obviously the cold for the next couple days. Maybe some showers, like I said, mixed snow, rain on Sunday. Still pretty cold on Monday, and then as it comes in, there's enough cold air around that we start off as a period of snow on the European before we mix over to rain, and it could even change briefly back to a little bit of snow. So this storm track's a little better. There's a little more what we call confluence, or some cold air trying to push down, and that's why it's a little colder here. It's all about timing cold air and erosion of the cold air, and whether or not we can get it to stick around. So on the European, there's actually a couple inches of snow. Which one will win out? I'm not sure. I'm thinking we're going to see some snow. I just don't think it's going to last very long. And it's just going to be a really cold rain for the most part. So that's kind of what I think everyone is feeling in general. And really chilly next week. Maybe a slight warm up after next week. We'll have to see. So that's kind of what we're seeing. I know a lot of people want to see snow. We'll show you. I'm going to show you the storm amounts at this point because we're getting close enough to at least we can start saying, hey, this is kind of what the models are showing. And this is a model forecast, so, take it with a grain of salt as far as how much you could get. This is the European, not the American model, and this is going through on Monday. You can see here it's showing a couple inches of snow. You see it in the, as I'm kind of moving it forward, the first front end and then on the back end a little bit of snow at the end. Yeah, this is showing 1 to 3 inches of snow. I think it's probably overdone. And it won't really do that, but hey, that's what the European model is doing. When we look at the GFS model, it may be overplaying the warmer air. We'll have to see. But as we go forward, you do see that there is some snow Still showed up here, so like I said, I think we'll see at least a little bit of snow at the onset. But overall, even through the entire forecast, that's as much snow as we ever get. A little bit of a trace or a little bit more. So, yep, there was quite the swing yesterday. Some of the what we call the GFs, or the ensemble members, which is all these different model runs, started to show an increase in snow. I got a little excited, unfortunately, early in the day, and then by the end of the day, that had pretty much crashed to where I thought it would have been initially, looking like it was gonna, turn over to rain for sure, even if we got any snow, and that's what I think is gonna happen because the cold air is not situated best to the north. It's just all about timing at this point. If we can keep enough cold air around, maybe we'll get a front end, we call a thump, or a little bit of snow. All right, y'all, have an awesome Friday. Hopefully you got out and got some goodies or are staying warm because it's really chilly. I hope you had an awesome Thanksgiving. Have a good one.